Welcome. This is a regular meeting of the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Central Elgin. Today is Monday, September 8th. I welcome those that are here in the council chamber tonight, as well as those that may be joining us online. Those of you that are in the gallery, if you'd please rise for the national anthem. Sort of an a cappella version. The Municipality of Central Elgin acknowledges that it is located on the land of the McKee Treaty that was signed by the Wyandot and by Anishinaabe nations, including ancestors of Chippewas of the Thames First Nation. It is also the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Attawandaronk, and Mississauga Nation. These First Nations continue to provide ongoing stewardship of the land and waters, and the land and waters in the Municipality of Central Elgin. Council, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, before we start the business part of the meeting, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome our new fire chief, Mr. Jeff Van Rybroek. Mr. Van Rybroek, Chief Van Rybroek rather, brings over 25 years of fire and emergency services experience that will be a great asset to the Central Elgin community. On behalf of the council, I'm pleased to welcome you to the team. I will say we look forward to your guidance of what I think are Central Elgin's best ambassadors, our volunteer women and men. So I thank you and welcome to the team. If I could get a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the previous minutes, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Bachmann.
Mayor Sullivan, the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Bogman, that the minutes for the regular meeting of council dated August 11th, 2025 be adopted.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Moving on to delegations. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. Vakili and Mr. Khorsand, who are going to provide a presentation regarding the Pleasant Valley Bridge. Do we have those gentlemen here? If so, would you like to come forward to the podium, please? Sir, sorry, and I named two people, so if you could just introduce yourself, press the button and the red light will come on. Thank you, sir.
My name is Mansoor Khorsand. I'm a civil engineer working with the Safe Road Engineering. We are involved in the design for the rehabilitation of the Elgin County Bridge. And I'm here to present the option that we developed during the course of the design. Okay. Safe Road Engineering has been retained by the Municipality of Central Elgin to complete the design for the rehabilitation of the Pleasant Valley Blind Bridge. The bridge is located on the Pleasant Valley Road, approximately 1.8 kilometers east of the Quaker Road. The scope of work was involved to structural assessment, preliminary design, option evaluation, and cost estimation for the rehabilitation of the bridge. The background of this bridge is what the Pleasant Valley Line Bridge reconstructed in 1986, and it's now about 39 years old and entering the final decade of its expected service life. The existing bridge is one-lane structure with a 3.35-meter roadway wide and 58-meter line built in 2 span and 62 annual average daily traffic. With the limited load posting, the bridge has been closed since 2014 due to the structural integrity concern. Based on the visual inspection conducted by SRE, the engineer team, the following observations were made. The truss system of the bridge is generally in good to fair condition. The majority of the bridge primary structure components located below the deck show significant sign of deterioration, severe corrosion, rust, disintegration, and severe scaling. This including the bearing base plates, stringer, transoms, sway brace, and abutment pier, and weighing wall. Go to the pictures. This is the next one. If you look at the condition of the bridge, most of the main elements of the bridge show the severe corrosion and loss of the section because of the condition of the bridge and the actually use of the bridge and the winter treatment of the snow on this bridge. There's lots of snow, lots of salt is caused the severe corrosion on the main element of the bridge underneath of this deck, which right now the general condition of the main elements of the load-bearing system of the bridge is in the fair condition. And if you go to the next, if you look, can you go back? Sorry. And if you look at the abutment of the bridge, there is a loss of disintegration and loss of the segment of the concrete bearing system of the bridge due to again, the same thing, the corrosion, salt, and the age of the bridge is happening. And we and if you go to the next picture, no, forward. No, the abutment. Yeah, go down. One more. Okay. One more. One more. If you look at the abutment, there is a lot of pothole segregation and severe scaling on the pier. And if you go to the next one, down, yeah, the same thing happening in the wing wall that's supporting the soil behind it through the actually approach of the bridge on the approach of the bridge. We developed 4 options for the repair, and if you go to the next one, I developed 3 options for the replacement of the bridge. In each actually option, we developed the actually cost of the replacement and the significance of the work of the construction that you actually expecting during the replacement or rehabilitation of this bridge, which we can, if you go back to the previous. The main the top 2 is only we are going to repair the elements underneath of the deck, and we're going to keep the truss in place. But this only give you the couple years of the lifespan for this bridge, and then a certain actually capacity to withhold the load. And the 4th option is to just with the minor rehabilitation to just keep the bridge in place to use it for the pedestrian or any ATV or any local small actually recreational vehicle to go over that bridge. It's going to give you a little longer lifespan with a lower cost actually to spend on this, but it's not going to give you any actually main traffic crossing on this bridge because of the load concern that right now we have with the bridge. If you go to the next, no, sorry. Yeah, and we actually developed 3 options for the replacement. One, the first 2 is going to be with the same shape or same type of the bridge, Bailey Bridge with the truss and 2 different type of deck, steel deck or timber deck. It's going to be lightweight bridge, actually with lower cost of the construction. And the third option is going to be the structural bridge, either concrete or steel bridge. It's going to give you the longer lifespan, but it's going to be more expensive than the other options. All the three options of the construction and all the four options of the rehabilitation is feasible and possible for this application, but it's depend on the what is your requirement to keep the bridge as it is, or how much you want to spend to keep the bridge in place or replacing the bridge. Any question?
Thank you, sir. I'll start, if I may, Council. Sir, did you go to the bridge?
Sorry?
Were you at the bridge?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to pick up on a comment you made about when it comes to corrosion. I was in the steel business, so there wouldn't be too many that wouldn't have some corrosion, right? We hear corrosion. I mean, there's 1 to 100 on corrosion, and my guess is most bridges would have some corrosion, correct?
Yeah, but the main problem with the Bailey Bridge, when you use the salt to de-icing the bridge during the winter, all this salt is going down to the main structure. With the concrete bridge, usually you have the membrane between the asphalt and main body of the structure that prevent this salt going directly to the concrete part or steel part and cause this erosion. That's why with the Bailey Bridge, you are more prone to actually corroded if you use the de-icing salt to actually maintaining during the winter. And the other problem with this specific application, there is a slope toward the bridge, which is the bridge is in the down part of this valley, which crossing the river, cause all this actually salt and dissolved water is going toward the bridge and going over the bridge. And if there's a system that prevent this water going over the bridge, it's going to help the bridge to it's going to lower the amount of the corrosion that's happening on this bridge. One of the options for the rehabilitation to build the trench immediately before the bridge to actually divert this water and from going over the bridge.
Thank you. Follow up, does a structural assessment include concrete work?
Yeah.
And could you just explain to me how that's done? The concrete is somehow assessed? There's some sort of a test done to look into it. You said the bridge was, I believe, 1986, is that correct?
It's the reconstruction time of the bridge.
Yeah, so how do we, that's not that old for concrete. I'm just curious about how it's assessed. Thank you.
We just use the hammer to just tap on the surface of the concrete to see if any segregation between the concrete happen or any disintegration happen from the concrete surface to the core concrete. But we didn't core through the concrete. And the rehabilitation part for the concrete is only going to be patching and resurfacing of the concrete. We are not recommending to replace the abutment or rework the concrete part.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to open it up to council. Should they have any questions? Councillor Watson, please.
Through you, Mayor, to Mr. Khorsand. Elements Engineering and your company, Safe Roads Engineering, are they related at all somehow?
Yeah, Elements Engineering is an umbrella company that they are part of the power group. Power group is
Microphone, sir. Apologies. Microphone.
The consulting part is fall under the Elements umbrella, which we have about 16 different consulting companies, including the Safe Road. But yeah, we are part of the Elements. Yeah.
Supplemental, I thought we were getting Elements right from the get-go. Another question I have, your units on your spreadsheets for your repair options and your replacement options, I don't understand some of them, talking about your load limits and all that. You're using units KN. What's KN? What? Kilonewtons. That's different. Okay. Okay. What the heck? One more. In your professional opinion, could we have done anything sooner or quicker to get that bridge up and open for people? Could we have replaced any of those sway bars and had that up and running?
The only way that you can open it to the public to use for the small cars or maximum with the ambulance, it's you need to replace some of that transom or we have a list of that. We already developed a list of the number of the elements that you have to replace them to make sure the bridge is safe to reopen to the public. But it's when we go based on which option you are going to choose for us, we are going to develop the list of the elements that should be replaced and then develop the cost more detail for you. But at this point, this is the high-level cost estimation with actually with the percentage of the element that we are observed during the site visit to be replaced to make the bridge safe for the public again.
Thank you. Councillor Watson again?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. So your opinion here is, like, we're seeing some numbers here. How much percentages could we see maybe some of these go down or up from, say, if we take an option 3 at 800,000? What do you think could go up or down percentage-wise?
Some of these elements needs to be removed, the actually timber part of the deck, to see the condition of the existing actually stringer below that, and then decide to replace them. Some of them that visible from the underneath of the bridge, we did some calculation, we did some actually, we took the number from the site, but some of the element needs to be actually to be assessed during the construction based on after removing the timber part of the bridge on the top.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Just a question, how soon do you think we could get something done if we go out for a request for proposal and we get some numbers in? How soon do you think this work could be done?
I believe after you have a contractor, the fastest they can rehabilitate this bridge is going to be 2-3 months. After they get into the site, actually move their stuff to the site and start to fix because everything should be fixed in place. That's the thing. And that's why by the time that you have a contractor, I believe the maximum time of the construction is going to be 2 to 3 months based on the weather and the actually season that you are going to start this job.
Okay, go ahead,
Okay,
Councillor.
let me ask so many questions, but when you're doing this, can other companies that build bridges put their components on the superstructure, substructure? Like, say you have one company A, and can company B put their components on if it's a cheaper option for people?
The Bailey Bridge. The Bailey Bridge is now changed to the Algonquin Bridge. We approached several this type of bridge builder in the Ontario, and we get the cost of the replacement from them. Some of the elements should be actually custom to this bridge because the bridge is old, and some of this element is not manufactured anymore. It's out of what they call is out of the line of the manufacturer, and some of them should be custom to this bridge. Lots of company can do that for you, for sure.
You talk about a Bailey Bridge. Is that like the engineer's name, or was that the company name? British company. Have you heard of Maybe Bridge? Are they about this? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Happy. No, we're learning. It's great. I mean, we're learning lots. Great questions. Councillor Connors, please.
Through you, Mayor. Sir, I'm just wondering How confident are you in these pricing amounts here that you've identified for each type? I've heard you say when you're up there that, you know, when we start removing the bearing plates, the stringers, the transoms, the sway bars, what are we going to find? I don't think that you have a clear view of what we're going to find. And from there, what I'm pointing at is that even though we tender out and we award repair, costs could go up based on what we find when we unravel the bridge.
Microphone, sorry.
Sorry. The cost we calculated for this bridge is Class D. The Class D is plus minus 25%. When we develop the detailed design for you, it's going to drop to the 10 plus or 5 minus cost estimation. At that point, the contractor will have this contingency between the 5 to 10% to actually replace any item that is not seen during the design. But right now, the cost that you can see is a Class D, the high-level cost estimation. Is not to the detail.
Deputy Mayor?
Through you, Mayor. So my question is, how complicated is this to fix? Like when we look at options 1, 2, or 3, how complicated is that to fix? Because I've been under the bridge and it doesn't look that complicated when you go underneath the bridge and you look up at it. Like I realize there's a lot of parts that need to be replaced, but
Yeah, the main problem, the main thing that made it complicated, everything should be replaced in place. Otherwise, they have to remove the bridge, take it to the manufacturer, fix it, and bring it back, which is going to be huge cost for you. But as they have to work in the existing condition, they have to place some support system to make sure when they take out any elements, the bridge is going to be integrated. They have to place some basket for the worker that's going to work underneath of the bridge to make sure they are not going to fall in the water body. The complication of the work is condition of the bridge and the place of the bridge. And the other thing that the two first options that you can see here, the first one is going to be a steel deck, which is going to make less water actually infiltrating from the deck of bridge to the structure. And second option is a timber bridge, the same as what you have. The timber is going to be shrink during the time and build lots of gap, which is make it easy for the water and salt going down and over the structure. The option first one is instead of the timber actually deck, we assume you are going to use the steel deck, which is going to give you better actually impermeable elements on the top of the bridge. But yeah.
Oh, supplementary, Deputy Mayor.
through you, Mayor. So I guess my next question is how confident are we with these costs? Because they seem high as far as what the amount of work that needs to be done. It seems like a lot of money for something that's not technically that hard to fix. Are you?
Yeah, the cost of actually procurement of the elements is not that high, but the cost of construction is going to be high to fix that element in place, because most of these elements cannot become and actually connected with the bolt anymore. The condition of this actually truss and the element is not let them to do it what prefab and bring it here and bolt it together. They have to weld most of them, and it's going to be expensive. As I said, as they have to work in the existing condition, the cost of construction is going to be high.
Thank you. Councillor Griffin, please.
Thank you, through you. So I think we've talked enough times about this bridge now that most of us have understood that Bailey bridges are meant to be inexpensive because they're modular and they kind of drop into place. So is what you're suggesting that they're cheap to put in, but then once the repair comes, they're not as cheap to repair as they are to install?
Yeah, again, this a specific type of bridge that you have is not manufactured anymore. Most of these elements should be customly built for the replacement. And again, they have to work in the existing condition. If we consider they can bring out the elements and fix it somewhere else and bring it back, is going to be easier for them to fix them. But the cost of removal and bring it out, send it to the manufacturer, fix it and bring it back is going to be huge.
Thank you. Any other further questions? Seeing none, Mr. Vakili, I want to thank you. Very thorough. We appreciate that you come in person, and it was an honor to have you here. Thanks for all the information. Council will be discussing this in a bit, but I want to thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Our next delegation, Mr. Rob Foster, who will be giving us a presentation regarding the 2024 municipal audit. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. So we have before you tonight the draft financial statements for the 2024 year. Our page 2 is our auditor's report. So this is our discussion of these financial statements. It would be what we call a non-qualified non-qualified opinion, which is what you're looking for. So in our opinion, the municipality's consolidated financial statements present fairly in all material specs financial position of the municipality as at December 31st, 2024, and the results of its operations and its cash flow for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. Assuming those are approved tonight, they'll be dated tonight as well. Just like to hit some of the highlights of the statements. If we could move to our page 4, the consolidated statement of financial position. So this is in essence, your balance sheet as at December 31st, 24 with the comparatives for 23. Just hit some of the changes year over year. Taxes receivables, so we are seeing receivables taxes being up about 300,000. Most of that being current, which is consistent with what we've seen in a number of the other municipalities, and I think consistent with economic times. So investments, you can see, are up from 12 up to 20. A large component of that relates to the border adjustment settlement that was set aside in investments. When we look at the deferred revenues, the obligatory reserve funds, development charges, some of the main increases year over year there. Accounts payable is up as well. There were some ongoing capital projects over the year end resulting in payables. There was no new debt taken on in the year. So we went from a net financial debt of 1.1 million up to net financial assets of 14,792,000 on the year. If we look at our non-financial assets, tangible capital assets then being the largest component of that, 8.4 million in additions, 7.2 million in amortization, giving us a slight increase year over year. Therefore, giving us our total accumulated surplus across all funds of 173 million. We do have what we call accumulated measurement gains and losses. So those are basically, a couple of years ago, the accounting standards asked us to switch from recording your investments at cost to recording them at fair market value. So in essence, that 117,000 is what we call unrealized capital gains. So your investments have gone up in value, but you haven't physically sold those yet. So we set them as a separate fund, so you can see that component on an annual basis. Also to remind council that these statements are consolidated, so they do include your proportionate share of the water boards, as well as your investment in earth. If we go to the next page, being our statement of operations and accumulated surplus, is our page 5. So we do have a budget of 24 actual and actual for 2023. It's important to note that the budget numbers have been adapted to the PSAB format. So that includes adding in amortization, subtracting out any transfers to and from reserves, and capital related fundings getting added in. So you did approve a zero budget, but here, of course, on the PSAB basis, we're actually showing a surplus of 3.8 million. Just want to make that clear that you didn't budget for a $3.8 million surplus. When we look at our comparatives to the budget, user charges a little under budget. That relates to the water revenue side of things. Under our municipality transfers, the 800 versus the 10.7 million. Again, the boundary adjustment funds going there. We also contributed surpluses from benefiting landowners and developers. There's some development charges for a park that were taken in the year for taking us above budget there. We also had above budget to the tune of about 1.5 million on our investment in interest income. Again, a component of that being the funds set aside for the boundary adjustment, as well as a more conservative approach on budgeting on interest. So total revenues of 45.7 million versus the 33.5 expected. On the expense side, I have to say one of the better budget to actuals I've seen this year as far as being comparable, very, very close. Nothing in particular jumping out as a big percentage unexpected from budget to actual. So that then giving us the annual surplus of 17 million, again on a PSAB basis. Our next page, page 6, is the statement of changes in net financial assets. So again, that kind of takes us, adds back any amortization and costs, which is a non-cash, subtracts out any funds put towards capital assets, showing us overall $15.9 million change in net financial assets. Our next page, as I discussed, is that change in fair market value year over year from cost to fair market value. In our statement of cash flows, this is where we go from an accrual basis back to a cash, so 17 million. We add back amortization, back out funds from Earth as far as their net income, monies that weren't just physically distributed out. Overall then, 26 million raised in the revenue side. We did acquire investments, 7.8 million, tangible capital assets of 8.4, and repayment of long-term debt of 3.3 million. We get into the notes. We did have one change in accounting policies related to revenue that's been disclosed in note 1. Didn't actually have any impact on these financial statements, but we still have to disclose that there was a change. No other changes to any of the accounting policies. So we can zip right along to our page 19, where we talk about deferred revenue. And as I had mentioned, our development charges seeing the increase for the most part year over year in those obligatory reserves. The next note is note 12, the long-term debt. So you will note that we've got each kind of borrowing base that happened over the years noted, and with the related interest rates, as well in note 12A, where we disclose where each of those payments, what kind of fund they're due from, development charges, tax revenue, and user charges being water and sewer. I think next it's important to go to our page 24, note 14, the accumulated surplus. So as I noted, it was 173 million, 158 million of that invested in tangible capital assets. We have 26.5 million in reserves. We had 5 million in basically capital projects that have been set aside that haven't been completed yet. Overall surplus on an annual basis of 862,000. We also include the surplus from the not-for-profit housing. That's why we're seeing it at $1,096,000. I think those are kind of the main highlights of the financial statements I wanted to hit on. I'll be happy to take any questions on that, and then I'll discuss the other part of our audit, being the audit findings letter.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Any questions or comments? Before we move forward, I did want to highlight the better budget actuals comment that you made, which is due and wholeheartedly because of Ms. Hurd, Mr. Jensen, Mr. Brooks. I'll name you next year, Chief. But that effort, I'm glad that you brought that forward, and I think that we should recognize the staff who made it happen. Thank you.
Okay, if no other questions on the financial statements, we also have included what we call our audit findings letter. So these statements are a stamp on the financial statements. The audit findings letter relates more to internal controls, management's ability to prepare the financial statements within the guidelines of the policies of the municipality. So we do have 2 comments in there, so I guess I'll back up one step before I get to those 2 comments. We didn't have any unrecorded journal entries that we had to worry about. We didn't have any issues in our testing of controls. So clean opinion in those type of things. And we thank management for their efforts in helping us complete the audit in that regard. Our only comments, and these are the same 2 that were in the previous year, is the municipality doesn't have a great tracking system for their assets on an individual basis. It's kind of grouped together, but we can't track individual assets as well as we should be able to. And in addition, there's what they call a asset retirement obligation requirement that came in last year for municipalities to identify any areas where there might be contamination or anything subsequent to the use of that asset that the municipality will incur liability to get rid of. We've identified a couple of potentials, but we haven't got official reports on those that we would hope we could get in the coming year. Other than that, the audit findings letter was positive as well.
Very good. Any questions or comments? With that, thank you again for your annual visit. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Moving on to correspondence requiring action. Could I get a mover and a seconder for Port Stanley Poppy Display? Councillor Griffin, Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Mayor Still on the motion reads, moved by Councillor Griffin, seconded by Deputy Mayor Noble, that the request from the Port Stanley Poppy Project dated July 2025 be approved.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Can I get a mover and a seconder for historical signage in Belmont, please? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Connors.
Mayor Still on the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Connors, that the request from the Belmont Historical Society dated September 2025 be approved.
Questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Reports. First report is for the Director of Planning and Engineering Services, DPE 0425, a request for tenders, McLaws Drain. Mover and a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Watson, thank you.
Mayor Still on the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Watson, that the tender from Van Bree Infrastructure for the McLaws Drain in the amount of $291,240 plus HST be accepted, and that an estimated $99,206 be included in the 2026 budget for the municipality's share of the McLaws Drain.
Any questions or comments on the McLaws Drain? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Thank you. DPE 0525, Pleasant Valley Bridge update. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Bachman. Councillor Watson.
Mayor Still on the motion reads, moved by Councillor Bachman, seconded by Councillor Watson, that staff and Elements Engineering be directed to proceed with detailed design and tendering of repair option 3, minor rehabilitation of the Pleasant Valley Line Bridge, and that staff be directed to further investigate long-term solutions to access east of the Pleasant Valley Line Bridge.
Questions or comments, please? Councillor Watson.
Yeah, in light of what I heard kind of today, tonight, and during the day, I'm not really prepared to go ahead with this option 3 process. Can we have an amendment to defer this for another month or 30 days?
Well, the councillor moved it. He's able to amend. Sure.
Can we just amend it for another 30 days? I need some time.
Ms. Hurd, what's the ruling here? What do I do?
Through the mayor to Councillor Watson. So I think you and I discussed it would come back on the October 6th council meeting. So it's just less than 30 days, but that would fit with our schedule if that's okay. And just a reminder to council that deferrals are not debatable. So it will be just a vote on this.
Voting on the deferral. Oh, you need a seconder. Councillor Griffin. Voting on the deferral. All those in favor? Opposed? It's deferred. Thank you. So what's happened, folks? Welcome to all those that are in the gallery. It's nice to have you out and hope to see you next week, yeah, next month. So Councillor Watson has put forward a deferral to give 30 more days to have this reconsidered at our next meeting, which is misheard on October 6th. So we're going to get some more information, and it's going to come back to council on the 6th of October. You can talk to any of us in the in-between. I'm happy to chat. You've got our numbers. A couple of your spokespeople. One isn't here, but is very persuasive. And I think all the council and staff have done our best to reach out and keep in contact. So we've got a little bit of a delay, but to the councillor's point, this council felt that more information was necessary. Thank you. If you guys want to head out, I can do it. Do you want me to do why don't we do a 5-minute recess? Oops, I just hit my iPhone with the gavel. Sorry. Sorry, if I can, I literally just hit my iPhone with the gavel. Bringing us back from a quick recess, thank you very much. Next on the agenda, Director of Corporate Services and our Treasurer. The consolidated financial statements. Could I get a mover and a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Watson, thank you.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Watson, that the 2024 consolidated financial statements be approved as attached to Schedule A to Staff Report DFS 825, that the audited surplus of $862,503 be transferred to the Rate Stabilization Reserve, and that the mayor be authorized to sign the 2024 engagement letter, audit planning letter, and audit findings letter on behalf of the municipality.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Jensen? Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor, I just have one, but I can't seem to find it on my computer. But when I looked at some of the changes with salaries and then the WSIB and the benefits that went through there, like we've done a good job. Like I'm proud of our budget because we're under budget, which is awesome. But I just didn't think that some of the numbers shifted over, like if we went down or we went up in wages, the WSIB costs didn't seem to counteract that. Like they seem to be more. I just didn't know if you had an answer. It's not like you. I was just kind of curious.
Mr. Jensen, is that the next report?
No, through you, Mayor. If you can provide a bit more details, I can find out, but they should follow budget fairly closely. Like
So we're still on the consolidated financial statements, correct? Okay. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. DFS 0925, the 2025 Q2 financial update. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Bachmann, Councillor Connors, thank you.
Mayor, still on the motion reads, moved by Councillor Bachmann, seconded by Councillor Connors, that the surplus and deficit funds from completed capital projects be transferred as outlined.
Questions, comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Jensen. DFS 1025 is a community grant and sponsorship pilot program. I believe Mr. Jensen has some additional information for council. Is that correct, sir?
through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we did receive correspondence through South Dorchester Home and School Association. They do plan to spend those funds before December 31st of this year, and therefore that needs to be changed to eligible for funding.
Thank you, sir. Mover to seconder, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Griffin, thank you.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Griffin, that the eligible community grants as identified in Table 1 to staff report DFS 1025 be approved.
Any questions or comments? Can I get a mover and a seconder for the amendment? Sorry, Councillor Bachmann's the mover. Councillor Griffin.
Mayor Sloan, the amendment reads, moved by Councillor Bogman, seconded by Councillor Griffin, that South Dorchester Home and School Association's grant funding request of $5,000 be approved.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried on the amendment. Back to the main motion. Questions or comments? Councillor?
Thank you. Mr. Jensen, if you can just clarify when it says duplicates existing municipal responsibility and or mandates, if you can give a few more details on that, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, which one? I believe there's
Both would be great.
okay. Friends of Erie Rest Beach, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Give me a second, please. So the Friends of Erie Rest Beach would like to install fencing on that property. We believe that fencing is a responsibility of the municipality. And the second one, the Village People, for the mural that they would like to paint. We understand that BIA is also painting murals. So there is a duplication on the work being done by the municipality versus what the applications are requesting.
Thank you, sir. Do you have a supplemental?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Deputy Mayor, are there Indigenous murals being painted by the BIA throughout town?
Through me to you, sir.
Through you, Mayor, the BIA is working on an art, something to promote Port Stanley through art, different levels of art. I don't know exactly, they haven't picked out the artwork that they're going to use, but there is going to be some murals through the BIA and other forms of art to promote Port Stanley.
Sorry, may I, Councillor Graham? Ms. Leach, are you the clerk for that committee?
Mayor Sloan, yes, I'm the secretary for the Port Stanley BIA.
Can I ask, was there not a $60,000 apportioned for a mural project? Is that not what the councillor is referring to?
Yes, Your Worship, through you to Councillor Graham. The Port Stanley BIA just approved at their last meeting at the end of August a large-scale art project to promote arts and culture in the village.
Councillor.
And so is that an Indigenous art? Is it a mural? What, if you're saying an art project, can you give some more details on that, please?
Sure, Your Worship, through you to Councillor Graham. The installations themselves have not yet been confirmed, but the board has engaged with a consultant that will be undertaking that work to connect with artists and provide proposals to the board.
Thank you. Councillor.
So sorry, is it a mural? Is it like, do you have specifics of what it is? Because if this isn't a doubling up, then I would just like to know those details.
The Deputy Mayor wishes to speak. Is that okay, Councillor?
Through you, Mayor, to Councillor Graham. I think if there's interest in a little bit of input into some of that artwork, then the BIA would be more than happy to hear that. And we could make that part of our same goal.
Thank you. Councillor? You're okay? Sorry, Councillor Graham. Okay, on the final. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Bylaw 2025044 to appoint Chief Van Rybroek. A mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Griffin, Councillor Bachman, thank you.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Councillor Griffin, seconded by Councillor Bachman, that bylaw 2025-44 be read a first, second, third time, and finally passed.
All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Bylaw to confirm the proceedings 2025045. Mover and a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Bachman.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Deputy Mayor Noble, seconded by Councillor Bachman, that bylaw 2025-45 be read a first, second, third time, and finally passed.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Adjournment. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Bachman, Councillor Connors. Thank you both.
Mayor Sloan, the motion reads, moved by Councillor Bachman, seconded by Councillor Connors, that the regular meeting of council dated Monday, September 8th, 2025 be adjourned at 7:55 p.m. with the next meeting to be scheduled for Monday, September 22nd, 2025.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We're adjourned. Thank you for those who are in the gallery, and thank you to staff and those who are joining us online, and thanks very much to council. Good evening.